even though I graduated high school in 1974, college in 1978, that was the Vietnam War was beginning to wind down and winding down, and even though I had two brothers, my two oldest brothers, my family is 8 kids and they're really far spread out, but my two oldest brothers had a draft number and therefore they both enlisted. And I was completely asleep politically, and I even went through 4 years of college pretty much asleep politically when it comes to activism and really catching anything political or caring about it. For me, 9/11, 2001, the events that happened on that day were a huge wake-up call to me. Like for a year, I kind of just watched in agony, really. Because what I had seen over that course of that year was a wave of fear just go across this country, and people, government officials, especially government policy was being based on that. And I could see that I would I slammed both my feet in the ground and said, no, not me. I just can't, I couldn't see any justice in the way we were using military to combat try to avenge the 3,000 some deaths that happened at 9/11 and go bomb in other countries. I just was totally devastated by that. We had some really good pastors that preached social justice in that church weekly, and I was deeply involved with Christian education. My kids were always there. I was always there for 5 years when we had this same pastor, especially as a leader. This very pastor was the one who invited me to go to my first School of the Americas protest down at Fort Benning, Georgia. We'd been talking about what goes on there for years, and then during service one day, he said, and I'm going in a week or two, if anybody wants to go with me. And my senior's 18-year-old daughter was sitting beside me that Sunday, and we looked at each other, and I went home and checked my work schedule to college, and it was clear enough that I went to the School of the Americas protest for the first time. And I kept going back to that year after year. Several years in, I quote, crossed the line, and this is where I say that I walked out of the church door and into a jail cell, because I've done quite a bit of jail time, a couple of long terms for crossing the line, literally a trespass at an Army base. My life turned, and I think I've learned so much. I came back and told college students at the time that I learned more in those 3 months than they probably learned in a whole year of Grinnell College, maybe 4 years even. Just learned a different kind of thing about justice. I was here all through the Bush, the initial reaction to the beginning of the Iraq War as a response, a vengeful response, in Afghanistan and then Iraq and the Bush administration was, got a lot of people college students to organize and get together on things. And I think now it's just so much bigger. So that was good base work, but now it's just the whole country, our whole nation, plus the campus itself has had to combine forces on all the justice issues. And a lot of people also turn to sustainability issues, of studying anything to do with sustainability, and that's only grown more and more and more these last 5 years even, and it'll probably continue to. So that's all justice work. It's all justice work as I see it now. What activism, nonviolence is to me is love in action. But love, not just like a love, sweet love thing. It's love in action. Mm-hmm. So we're being willing to risk things. Definitely a tool to be used. Definitely social media. I haven't been one, to use that as a tool. But the organizers of your generation absolutely are going to use that as a tool. But the thing that I keep drawing back to is the face-to-face, the one-to-one, that if we didn't have that, what would we do? How would we treat each other? So I'm just going to sit back and watch that one happen. Okay.